$4.50 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. Filling up an F-150 truck now costs over $103. A smaller SUV is now $30, more expensive every fill-up than it was before the war in Iran. And in many areas of the country, prices are much higher than the average. Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan says even worse could be coming because of uncertainty in the Strait of Hormuz.
If the strait remains closed, into the month of June, I think by July 4, we'll be at all-time record highs.
Alex Stone, ABC News.
The U.S. military, under what officials call Project Freedom's, ensuring safe passage of commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge in Tel Aviv.
Their aspiration is that more will feel confident enough that the U.S. military has got this operation up and running. The question is, will those shipping companies, will the crews on board feel more confident enough, given the exchange of fire yesterday, in the coming days to make that trip?
The man accused of throwing a gasoline bomb at the San Francisco home of OpenAI chief Sam Altman pleaded not guilty today to attempted murder and attempted arson. 150 passengers and crew wait for help on a Dutch cruise ship anchored off the coast of West Africa. 3 passengers have died, at least 4 others are sick. Health officials say it's from hantavirus, usually spread by inhaling contaminated rodent droppings. The time between exposure and symptoms appearing can be as long as 8 weeks, says the World Health Organization's Dr. Ann Lindstrom.
8 weeks is a very, very long time to be in a quarantine. We will have to see what the limit of maybe quarantine will be, or maybe the testing of all the passengers, and then see how they safely can be coming back to their home countries.
So far, it's not clear what exactly they're going to do. You're listening to ABC News.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
California taking legal action against State Farm Insurance for its legal handling of claims from last year's devastating wildfires. ABC's Sophie Flay.
Among the alleged violations, slow and inadequate investigations, unreasonably low settlement offers, and inadequate communication with customers. State Farm denies the accusations, saying it handled nearly 14,000 claims from the fires and has paid out more than $5.7 billion.
Trade talks with EU and U.S. reps have been going on in Paris. Good intentions are facing challenges.
After last summer's flash flooding that killed more than 130 people in central Texas, including 27 campers and counselors at Camp Mystic, Governor Greg Abbott led a push for stricter regulations.
Improved camp safety is now law in the great state of Texas, a law that will save lives.
But with only weeks to go before the summer season begins, only 9 of Texas' 300 camps have met new requirements for emergency plans, warning systems, and staff training. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
4 Palestine Action activists were convicted today of breaking into an Israeli defense factory in the UK and smashing equipment with sledgehammers and crowbars. The Rolling Stones confirming that they will release a new album titled Foreign Tongues on July 10th. And they also released a new single, In the Stars. Billboards with the band's iconic mouth and tongue logo have been appearing for weeks. Chuck Severtson, ABC News.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Southward live from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Tuesday afternoon, May 5th. Candidate filing underway in Clallam County, and early filings already shaping up in several key races ahead of the fall elections. In the race for Clallam County Commissioner District 3, incumbent Democrat Mike French has filed for re-election, and independent challenger Jake Seegers has also filed as of Monday. Some other countywide offices also beginning to take shape. Lee Hancock filing for county assessor, While prosecuting attorney Mark Nichols is seeking another term, Bruce Emery has filed to run for re-election as Director of Community Development. And a new filing as of this morning, Brian King for re-election as Clallam County Sheriff. At the state level, 24th District legislative races drawing some crowded fields in at least one race. For position 1, independent Ted Bowen has filed for that position. It's currently held by Adam Birnbaum, the Democrat. Position 2 seat, which is being vacated by Steve Theringer, has already attracted multiple candidates, including Democrats Patrick DePoe, Kaylee Keene, and Bradley Nemo Calloway, along with Marcia Kelbon, who's running without party preference. Further down the ballot, Missy Baker's filed for PUD Commissioner District 2. The judicial races have also expanded, with Alex Shadesky filing for Clallam County District Court Judge in District 1, and Bruce Hanafy entering the race for District Court Judge in District 2. At the federal level, 2 candidates so far have filed for 6 district U.S. House seats, Independent Brian P. O'Gorman and Republican Leon Lawson. Filing continues through Friday. Washington Supreme Court has rejected an effort to block the state's new income tax on high earners. In a ruling yesterday, justices said the law's necessity clause, which prevents a referendum, is valid, clearing the way for the measure to stand without a public vote this fall. The decision means opponents cannot pursue a referendum, but may still try to overturn the tax through an initiative, a process that requires roughly twice as many signatures. Chief Justice Deborah Stevens wrote the tax generates revenue for existing state services and therefore qualifies for constitutional protections that shield it from a referendum. The law, signed by Governor Bob Ferguson in March, places a 9.9% tax on household income above $1 million starting in 2028. Opponents, led by Brian Haywood, criticized the ruling, arguing it limits voter oversight. Supporters, including House Majority Leader Joe Fitzgibbon, said the outcome was expected and supports broader tax reform efforts. The court is still expected to rule on the tax's constitutionality before it takes effect. Leaders at Field Arts and Events Hall say a major milestone has been reached in the facility's capital campaign. The construction bill is now fully paid off. Board President Brooke Taylor says that achievement marks a shift from building the venue to sustaining it. He announced the achievement on KONP just a couple of weeks ago.
And I am very, very pleased to say this afternoon, Todd, that last Tuesday, the construction phase was paid in full. There is no more debt, period.
Taylor says the capital campaign will officially wrap up June 13th. With a community celebration plan to mark that milestone and to thank all the supporters.
A save-the-date item on June 13th, we're going to have Field Day. We're going to block off Oak Street, and we're going to celebrate that fact that the building is paid for. And it's just going to be a fun day for everybody.
Now, even as the campaign ends, Taylor says fundraising not going to stop. Instead, it's shifting towards some long-term sustainability, maintenance, and expanding programming at Field Hall. He says the goal now is to ensure Field Hall continues to grow as a hub for arts and events across the region. More news after this.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, PA Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on Peninsula Friends of Animals, a cageless, no-kill, donor-supported animal welfare organization servicing our community since 2000. Their mission is to prevent the birth of unwanted cats and dogs through spay and neuter low-cost clinics and to place as many homeless animals as possible into safe, loving homes. Their dedicated volunteers handle a wide range of roles, including cleaning, socializing, office help, transport, and more. Also coming up on May 16th is their annual fundraising event, a truly possum night. For this event information or to volunteer, please call them at 360-452-0414 extension 3 or email them at pfoa@olepen.com. Sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Dr. Josh Jones previews Cinemental, a live podcast event using film and TV to explore mental health in a meaningful and lighthearted way. Plus, Bev Dodson from the Port Angeles Garden Club with details on their annual plant sale.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
In other news, civic engagement leaders in Washington state calling on the state to adopt ranked choice voting as a way to secure voting rights against changes to the Federal Voting Rights Act. Isabel Charlet has that story.
Last week's U.S. Supreme Court ruling found a majority black district in Louisiana to be unconstitutional, and critics of the decision say it will lead to less representation for people of color across the country. Nilu Jenks with Fair Vote Washington says it does not serve the country's democracy to keep fighting over redistricting.
The answer is reforming our electoral system that has not been serving us. We all feel it's not serving us. It is driving political violence. We deserve to have a system that gives people more voice and more choice, and that's proportional ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference rather than selecting just one. And the proportional method enables multiple candidate districts, allowing more elected members to bodies like a city council. Jenks says that option closely reflects the diversity and views of a community. A ranked choice bill in the state legislature meant for local governments failed to advance this session. Common critiques of this idea include it being complicated while delaying results. I'm Isabel Charlet.
2 Washington distilleries are gaining national attention after earning spots on a prestigious whiskey list. Luxury magazine's Robb Report named bottles from Woodinville Whiskey and Westland Distillery among the 50 greatest whiskeys of the 21st century. Jonah Flicker ranked them number 46 and number 47, respectively. Woodinville was recognized for its 6-year aged straight bourbon, noted for flavors like maple, molasses, and cinnamon. Co-founder Orland Sorensen said the honor shows Washington can compete with long-established distilleries. Westland earned its spot with a 10-year Gariana single malt, highlighting Pacific Northwest oak and flavors of vanilla, caramel, and spice. President Jason Moore called the recognition validating for both the company and the state's growing whiskey industry. The rankings considered taste, industry impact, and availability alongside overall quality. This is News Radio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Olympic has the perfect way to celebrate spring. A hot tub, swim spa, or sauna at home to take better care of you and your family. Through May 10th, you'll save thousands on the perfect wellness solution for your home. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Let's breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Exhale very slowly. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ed Council.
Olympic Game Farm is the place for you. Better than the circus or a day at the zoo. There's llamas and there's lions and a race for you. Olympic Game Farm is the place for you. Say hello to a buffalo, stick out his tongue. This place is just amazing for the old and the young. These zebras or a tiger might catch your eye. They've even got a bear who'll wave goodbye. It's so much fun, so bring your dad and your mom. Look us up at onlygamefarm.com.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight, lows dip down to about 49. Daytime highs approaching 63 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Highs level off around 61 Thursday under partly cloudy skies. 58 Friday, slight chance for showers. Looking at the long range, 62 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 65 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 55.
Stealing the first one on the road. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Anthony Edwards returns from his hyperextended knee, and the Timberwolves take game 1 of their series with the Spurs in San Antonio by 2, 104-102. And with 18 in the win, Spurs missing a look at a 3 as time expires, couldn't get it to drop. Victor Wembanyama, though, did have his first career triple-double in the loss, 11 points, 15 rebounds, 12 blocks, which is an NBA playoff record. In the East, Knicks shoot 61%, crushing the Sixers 137-98, 39-point win in the series opener. And for a second straight game, the New York starters did not play in the fourth quarter. Orlando making a coaching change. Jamal Mosley fired after 5 seasons and 3 first-round playoff appearances. In Dallas, Mavericks hire former Raptors executive Masai Ujiri as team president. On the ice, Hurricanes take the first 2 on their home ice. They get a 3-2 overtime win yesterday in Game 2. Golden Knights take Game 1 from the Ducks, 3-1 the final. An empty netter tacked on, but it was the go-ahead goal with about 5 minutes left that came when Vegas took advantage of no icing called on the play, which caught the Ducks off guard.
That's no excuse. You got to keep playing. You learn when you're a kid. Your coaches tell you play all the way to the whistle. There was no whistle. Anaheim's got to stick with it.
Vegas gets a goal out of it. Game 2 is Thursday. On the diamond, Mariners rally from down 4 and beat Atlanta. Braves, Matt Olson getting home run number 300 in the loss. Dodgers get past the Astros 8-3. Cubs rally with 2 in the bottom of the 9th and walk off the Reds 5-4. Cardinals double up the Brewers 6-3. White Sox a 6-0 shutout of the Angels. Phillies get a Bryce Harper home run and shut out the Marlins 1-0. Red Sox edge the Tigers 5-4. Detroit pitcher Tarek Skubal will have surgery on his left elbow. He's out a couple of months. Yankees a 12-1 rout of the Orioles. Baseball world mourning the death of John Sterling, the longtime voice of the Yankees for 36 seasons. He was 87.
Turning to local sports now, the Peninsula Pirate women's soccer team has signed Andrea Domingo, a transfer from Lake Tahoe Community College. In her freshman season, Domingo helped lead the Coyotes to a 19-2-2 record, including a perfect 10-0 mark in conference play. Lake Tahoe advanced to the NorCal Regional Final. She started 13 matches, scoring 8 goals and adding 11 assists. Before college, she earned second-team All-3A North League honors at Sparks High School out of Reno. The Pirates have also signed Linnea Huchant of Vashon Island, along with international addition Ines Visser out of the Netherlands. In high school baseball, both Port Angeles and Sequim have key matchups today and tomorrow to close out the Olympic League season. At last check, Port Angeles at 5-7 sits as the projected number 6 seed for the district tournament. The Rough Riders host Kingston today. They'll travel to Kingston tomorrow. Sequim faces a must-win scenario. The Wolves are currently ranked 13th in the district RPI with only 12 teams advancing. They host Bremerton today, then travel to Bremerton tomorrow. Bremerton currently holds the 12th and final spot. A sweep likely puts Sequim into the district tournament. Both Port Angeles and Sequim games begin at 4:15 today, and Sequim's game at Bremerton tomorrow. We're going to broadcast that for you here on KONP. In high school softball, Sequim hosts Kingston, 5 o'clock. Port Angeles travels to North Mason, also 5 o'clock first pitch. In boys soccer, 5th-ranked Port Angeles at 13-2 on the season now, travels to Bremerton. Sequim's also on the road at North Kitsap, both matches at 7 tonight. And at the Olympic League Golf Tournament, Cale Wentz qualified for state with a round of 78. Sky Gelder shot an 87 to qualify for districts, and Noah Myers advanced by winning a playoff to secure his district spot.
Swung on, blasted, right field. Does it have enough? Warning track, wall, gone! J.P. Crawford! 2-run home run, and the Mariners are in front. T-Mobile Park in a frenzy. The Mariners, a 5-spot in the inning. It's 5-4.
J.P. Crawford hitting that go-ahead 2-run homer last night, helping the Seattle Mariners rally from 4 runs down to beat the Atlanta Braves 5-4. Same 2 teams this evening, 5:30 airtime here on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Is your old water heater costing you money? Is it time to make a switch? Join Clallam County PUD for a free heat pump water heater class on Wednesday, May 13th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Learn how this new technology can reduce your energy bills. We will cover installation tips, the latest technology, and generous rebate opportunities. Snacks, of course. Join us at the Clallam County PUD main office, 104 Hooker Road in Sequim. Call 360-452-9771 with any questions.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Today is Cinco de Mayo, and America's love of avocados is getting a boost from the holiday. U.S. imports of Mexican avocados for the holiday is expected to have reached at least 235 million pounds, 15 million more than the previous record back in 2023. That's according to Avocados from Mexico. The trade group that promotes the fruit in the U.S. expects Cinco de Mayo could eventually become a bigger growth driver than the Super Bowl, which accounted for a record 300 million pounds of avocados this year. The U.S. gets almost 90% of its avocados from Mexico. Pfizer reported first quarter sales that beat analysts' estimates, with the drug maker showing revenue of close to $14.5 billion in the first quarter, an almost 5.5% year-over-year gain. Pfizer shares are currently up around 1%, but have lost more than half their value since late 2021. Markets are all up, with the Dow gaining around 0.8%, the S&P gaining close to 1%, while the Nasdaq is up over 1.1%. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Hi, I'm Dr. Calvin Kuo. I'm a primary care physician at Olympic Medical Center. You've likely heard a lot lately about GLP-1 medications for chronic disease and weight loss, but are they right for you? Join me for a free presentation on Thursday, May 21st at 5:30 p.m. in the Seasons Cafe at Olympic Memorial Hospital. We'll discuss how these medications work, potential side effects, and what to ask your doctor. Learn more about the presentation at olympicmedical.org/events. I hope to see you there.
LS Tractor. Do more for less. More standard features, more capacity, and more operator comfort. LS Tractor gives you more. A comprehensive warranty and more PTO horsepower. Do more on your farm, ranch, or acreage. Mow it, grade it, till it, or move it. Stop by your local participating dealer and join the growing LS Tractor family today.
Find the perfect LS tractor for you at Leets Farm Supply in Squim. Locally owned and operated, call Leets at 360-452-1400.
LS Tractor. Simply more.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
And let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center. That's where Steve's standing by, watching the roads for us in the noon hour. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're looking pretty good out there overall. If you're out there on the lunchtime crush, things moving along fairly well. It's busy. Let's put it that way. Coming into Port Angeles, pretty steady traffic. Down First Street, up Front Street, Lincoln Street, 8th Street, pretty much all the main streets. Right now, a lot of traffic out there, little delays at the lights. Same thing in Squim. Washington Street has been really busy, along with Squim Avenue. Just a lot of cars there and a lot of backup there at the Squim Avenue stoplight. If you're on the highway between the two cities, things are a little bit better. Traffic is moving along pretty smoothly out there, right at the speed limit. Beyond that, the Hood Canal Bridge is good to go still with no scheduled marine openings this afternoon. State ferries are holding up as well. They are staying on time. West End traffic, we're looking good all the way out to the Forks area. Just light to moderate traffic out there. A little bit busy out of Port Angeles, but the rest of the way, no problem. And right at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Another update from you in about a half hour. Forecast today still calling for some sunshine by later this afternoon. Going to get into the upper 60s. We'll see if that develops or not. Going to be mostly clear tonight. Lows near 50 and a west wind gusting to 30 miles per hour through the evening tonight. Mostly sunny for Wednesday with patchy fog in the morning, and highs will be in the 60s. Wednesday, partly sunny. Thursday with highs in the low 60s. Right now across the North Peninsula, we've got Port Townsend in the east end at 54. It's 57 out west at Forks, 56 in Squim, and 55 degrees right now here in Port Angeles.
ABC Entertainment News.
It looks like the case between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni won't be going to trial. The two sides had been engaged in a contentious fight over allegations of abuse on the set of the movie It Ends With Us. On Monday, lawyers for both actors announced they'd reached a settlement.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me.
Dolly Parton has an update for fans on her health. The country star apologizing on social media for having to cancel her upcoming Las Vegas residency due to ongoing digestive and immune system issues. Parton says she's doing much better health-wise, but that she's still not up to stage performance level.
And of course I can't be dizzy carrying around banjos, guitars, and such on 5-inch heels. And you know that I'm going to be wearing them.
And happy birthday to 16-time Grammy winner Adele, who's turning 38 today. Mike Dubusky, ABC News. From ABC News Tech Trends, GameStop has put in a bid to acquire the online auction site eBay. The company says it could offer $55.5 billion to buy eBay as a mix of 50% cash and 50% stock. However, it remains unclear if GameStop actually has the money to do that. eBay says its board is reviewing the proposal. Amazon has announced it's allowing Procter & Gamble, Land's End, and 3M, as well as other big companies, to use its logistics services to fill and deliver packages. It comes after the company made efforts to reduce its dependency on the U.S. Postal Service earlier this year. And a new study from the National Bureau of Economic Research finds that banning cell phones in schools has little to no impact on test scores. But it also found long-term student well-being did improve after phones were banned, but there was a brief increase in disciplinary incidents. The survey looked at phone data from 40,000 schools from 2019 through 2026. With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
What are the chances you are listening to this while drinking a nice hot cup of coffee? If so, don't let me stop you. For years, we've been reporting on the health benefits of coffee, and that's not going to stop today. A new study, this one out of Harvard School of Public Health, found that coffee and tea could help lower your risk of developing dementia. People who enjoyed 1 to 3 caffeinated cups a day saw the biggest impact. In addition to the caffeine, coffee contains hundreds of bioactive compounds that can influence inflammation, glucose metabolism, vascular function, and oxidative stress. It's also possible coffee drinkers might be doing other things that keep them healthy. Eating a more balanced diet, getting plenty of exercise, sleep, not smoking, or drinking too much alcohol. And finally, staying socially active. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. For those of you who listened to rock and roll in the 1970s, and one band specifically, REO Speedwagon, ever wonder where they got their name? I'll tell you that story after this important message. Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart. Thanks for tuning into my One Moment in America program today. And today, I am so excited to introduce you to a new sponsor. But first, let me ask you a question. Do you have joint aches and pains? Are you getting enough good sleep? Do you have enough energy every day to do what you want to do? We do now, and it's called Calitrin, a daily supplement we've been searching for. And the benefits? It's not just a weight loss pill. It reduces inflammation on your joints, gives you better sleep, and gives you more energy in your daily routine. And we're so excited to see the changes it's made in our lives in just a short time. We will be on the plan for the directed 3 months, and we would love for you to come along with us on this journey. So go to toploss.com and sign up now and get your own 3-month package. Let's do this together. That's toploss.com. See you there. In 1968, Neil Dowdy had a band. He played keyboard, but the band had a problem. They could not find a good, catchy name. So that day, he walked into his college history class, and there it was, written in bold letters on the chalkboard, REO Speedwagon. But just what is an REO Speedwagon? Well, according to my research, an REO Speedwagon was a flatbed truck first built in the early 1900s. It was very high speed, heavy duty, which made it a perfect truck to be a fire engine. And the letters REO, they are the initials of Ransom Eli Olds, who went on to create the Oldsmobile. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
At Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel, Mark Gustafson is precisely the professional you want helping your family during a time of loss.
Every morning when I get out of bed, I have one more opportunity to help a family in need that is grieving, that may be in a cloud, may not know what to do, where to go, who to talk to. And I'm here to help them through that and to be here every day for them.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Friendship and experience can be a real comfort.
When a loved one loses someone, it's a journey that they're going through. It's new territory, so to speak, and I'm able to be there to help them. And again, being hometown, I'm there with them all the way through it from start to finish.
Caring professionals when you need them most. Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel, 452-9701, and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel, 683-5242.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
First Fed is proud to spotlight the Community Emergency Response Team, also known as CERT, as they stand ready in emergency situations. Made up of over 500 trained volunteers, CERT addresses life safety along with search and rescue operations and improving the readiness of our citizens to be self-reliant. You can join the Community Emergency Response Team by joining an upcoming class. Trainings are provided on the first and third Thursday of every month. All volunteer teams receive training in search and rescue, basic triage along with first aid, radio communications, and disaster planning. While experience is valued, it's not necessary. Consider joining a CERT team and do good where you are. Search online CERT Clallam County for preparation resources and trainings. CERT, doing the greatest good for the greatest number of people.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. U.S. military leaders say the ceasefire with Iran remains in effect.
Following new Iranian attacks in the Strait of Hormuz and against the United Arab Emirates, Defense Secretary Hegseth said the ceasefire is not over despite Iran's actions.
Iran is the clear aggressor, harassing civilian vessels, threatening mariners from every nation.
Meanwhile, U.S. forces have pressed ahead with efforts to reopen the vital waterway for global energy. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump spoke with the Salem Radio Network about the impact the Iran war is having on the U.S. relationship with China.
It's better to get along with China than it is to fight with China, and they feel the same thing. And don't kid yourself, they watched what happened in Venezuela. They watched what happened in Iran, because militarily, Iran is essentially over.
Also, at townhall.com, 2 people have been killed, 3 injured in a shooting near a shopping mall. It happened north of Dallas today. The investigation just getting underway. Candidates for Ohio's top elected offices will stand before voters in a statewide primary today.
In the race to replace outgoing GOP Governor Mike DeWine, tech entrepreneur and 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy faces auto racing engineer and internet personality Casey Putch for the Republican nomination. Ramaswamy has endorsements from Mr. Trump and the Ohio Republican Party and entered the final stretch of the primary campaign with a $31 million war chest, including $25 million from his personal funds. There are also competitive races for the U.S. Senate and U.S. House seats that could decide control of both chambers for the final 2 years of President Trump's presidency. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Wall Street has been a winning session for investors despite ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. The Dow right now up by 316 points. And an hour from the close, it is the NASDAQ up by just over 400. More from townhall.com.
There's a moment nobody talks about with weight loss. It's the moment it stops working. The diet that worked before doesn't. Eating less stops moving the scale. That's not random. When your body's under stress, it slows your metabolism. That's why quick fixes eventually fail. At PhD Weight Loss, they focus on restoring your metabolism. And right now, when you call and mention Mike G, you'll get 2 free weeks and they'll pay for the cost of your food. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
It may have been make-believe when it was on TV in the 1970s and 80s, but now it's become real life on the radio.
The radio station WKRP isn't dead. It's now live on air in Cincinnati. The call letters from the fictional station featured decades ago in a CBS sitcom were adopted by stations in the Cincinnati market in time for the morning Monday drive. The station's co-owner says delighted listeners have been mobbing the phone lines. The show WKRP in Cincinnati ran from 1978 to 1982 and starred Lonnie Anderson, Howard Hessman, Tim Reed, and Richard Sanders as bumbling newsman Les Nessman. Keith Peters reporting.
President Trump's deals with drug makers requiring many of their prescription prices to drop could save the economy $529 billion over the next 10 years. That's according to a new analysis from the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Breaking news at Town Hall. A plane hits light pole in New Jersey.
Authorities say the United Airlines passenger jet was arriving from Venice, Italy, when it hit a light pole on the New Jersey Turnpike Sunday afternoon. It was about to land at Newark Liberty International Airport. The plane was carrying 221 passengers and 10 crew members. It landed safely, and the airline says no one on the plane was injured. New Jersey State Police say a landing tire and the underside of the plane also hit a truck. The driver of the truck had minor injuries. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. I'm Mike Hempen.
Authorities in China say an explosion at a fireworks plant in a central Chinese province has killed at least 26 people and injured 61 others. Hundreds of rescuers were deployed to the scene. Residents in danger zones were evacuated. Officials have shut down fireworks manufacturing in the region for now. More on these stories from townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Southward live from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Tuesday afternoon, May 5th. Candidate filing underway in Clallam County, and early filings already shaping up in several key races ahead of the fall elections. In the race for Clallam County Commissioner District 3, incumbent Democrat Mike French has filed for re-election, and independent challenger Jake Seegers has also filed as of Monday. Some other countywide offices also beginning to take shape. Lee Hancock filing for county assessor, while prosecuting attorney Mark Nichols is seeking another term. Bruce Emery has filed to run for re-election as director of community development. And a new filing as of this morning, Brian King for re-election as Clallam County Sheriff. At the state level, 24th District legislative races drawing some crowded fields in at least one race. And for position 1, independent Ted Bowen has filed for that position. It's currently held by Adam Birnbaum, the Democrat. Position 2 seat, which is being vacated by Steve Theringer, has already attracted multiple candidates, including Democrats Patrick DePoe, Kaylee Keene, and Bradley Nemo Calloway, along with Marcia Kelbon, who's running without party preference. Further down the ballot, Missy Baker's filed for PUD Commissioner District 2. The judicial races have also expanded, with Alex Shadesky filing for Clallam County District Court Judge in District 1, and Bruce Hanfey entering the race for District Court Judge in District 2. At the federal level, 2 candidates so far have filed for 6 District U.S. House seats, Independent Brian P. O'Gorman and Republican Leon Lawson. Filing continues through Friday. Washington Supreme Court has rejected an effort to block the state's new income tax on high earners. In a ruling yesterday, justices said the law's necessity clause, which prevents a referendum, is valid, clearing the way for the measure to stand without a public vote this fall. The decision means opponents cannot pursue a referendum, but may still try to overturn the tax through an initiative, a process that requires roughly twice as many signatures. Chief Justice Deborah Stevens wrote the tax generates revenue for existing state services and therefore qualifies for constitutional protections that shield it from referendum. The law, signed by Governor Bob Ferguson in March, places a 9.9% tax on household income above $1 million starting in 2028. Opponents, led by Brian Haywood, criticized the ruling, arguing it limits voter oversight. Supporters, including House Majority Leader Joe Fitzgibbon, said the outcome was expected and supports broader tax reform efforts. The court is still expected to rule on the tax's constitutionality before it takes effect. Leaders at Field Arts and Events Hall say a major milestone has been reached in the facility's capital campaign. The construction bill is now fully paid off. Board President Brooke Taylor says that achievement marks a shift from building the venue to sustaining it. He announced the achievement on KONP just a couple of weeks ago.
And I am very, very pleased to say this afternoon, Todd, that last Tuesday, the construction phase was paid in full. There is no more debt, period.
Taylor says the capital campaign will officially wrap up June 13th with a community celebration plan to mark that milestone and to thank all the supporters.
A save the date item on June 13th, we're going to have Field Day. We're going to block off Oak Street, and we're going to celebrate that fact that the building is paid for, and it's just going to be a fun day for everybody.
Now, even as the campaign ends, Taylor says fundraising not going to stop. Instead, it's shifting towards some long-term sustainability, maintenance, and expanding programming at Field Hall. He says the goal now is to ensure Field Hall continues to grow as a hub for arts and events across the region. More news after this.
Hi, I'm John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, serving the Puget Sound since 2007. Tri-State Roofing is committed to making every step of the process stress-free. You'll have a dedicated production manager helping you with every aspect, start to finish. Right now, we're offering 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 6 months. Call Tri-State today, and we'll be out tomorrow.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Caring for a loved one takes heart and help. Dungeness Court Memory Care is there for you. Our adult day stay program offers a safe, nurturing environment with meals, engaging activities, caregiving support, and on-site nursing care. Day stay is available 7 days a week from 30 minutes to 10 hours with no minimum commitment for only $25 an hour. Care for your loved one. Peace of mind for you. Call 360-582-9309 to schedule a free assessment today.
Laurel Lanes in Port Angeles believes that family time should be fun, provide some exercise, and most of all, be affordable. That's why during the summer, Uncle Vern makes sure that all kids that bowl for free. All you have to do to take part in this awesome deal is go to laurellanesbowling.com and click on Kids Bowling on the top left hand of the page. It's free to sign up, and you'll get 2 free games a day for the kids. That's laurellanesbowling.com.
In other news, civic engagement leaders in Washington state calling on the state to adopt ranked choice voting as a way to secure voting rights against changes to the Federal Voting Rights Act. Isabel Charlet has that story.
Last week's U.S. Supreme Court ruling found a majority black district in Louisiana to be unconstitutional, and critics of the decision say it will lead to less representation for people of color across the country. Nilu Jenks with Fair Vote Washington says it does not serve the country's democracy to keep fighting over redistricting.
The answer is reforming our electoral system that has not been serving us. We all feel it's not serving us. It is driving political violence. We deserve to have a system that gives people more voice and more choice, and that's proportional ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference rather than selecting just one. And the proportional method enables multiple candidate districts, allowing more elected members to bodies like a city council. Jenks says that option closely reflects the diversity and views of a community. A ranked choice bill in the state legislature meant for local governments failed to advance this session. Common critiques of this idea include it being complicated while delaying results. I'm Isabel Charlet.
2 Washington distilleries are gaining national attention after earning spots on a prestigious whiskey list. Luxury magazine's Robb Report named bottles from Woodinville Whiskey and Westland Distillery among the 50 greatest whiskeys of the 21st century. Jonah Flicker ranked them number 46 and number 47, respectively. Woodinville was recognized for its 6-year aged straight bourbon, noted for flavors like maple, molasses, and cinnamon. Co-founder Orland Sorensen said the honor shows Washington can compete with long-established distilleries. Westland earned its spot with a 10-year Gariana single malt, highlighting Pacific Northwest oak and flavors of vanilla, caramel, and spice. President Jason Moore called the recognition validating for both the company and the state's growing whiskey industry. The rankings considered taste, industry impact, and availability alongside overall quality. This is News Radio KONP. This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Dr. Josh Jones previews Cinemental, a live podcast event using film and TV to explore mental health in a meaningful and lighthearted way. Plus, Bev Dotson from the Port Angeles Garden Club with details on their annual plant sale.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight, lows dip down to about 49. Daytime highs approaching 63 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Highs level off around 61 Thursday under partly cloudy skies. 58 Friday, slight chance for showers. Looking at the long range, 62 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 65 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 55.
Mariners trying to make it 2 in a row against the tough Atlanta Braves tonight. 5:30 airtime here on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Now the rest of the sports, it's Robert Workman.
NBA playoffs conference semifinal openers on Monday. In the East, the Knicks slammed the 76ers 137-98. That's New York's third straight playoff win margin of at least 25 points. First team to ever do that. Jalen Brunson had 35 points.
I think most importantly, the ball was going in. I got a rhythm. My teammates did a good job of setting screens and getting me open.
In the West, the Timberwolves tipped the Spurs 104-102. Julius Randle led all scorers with 21 points. Anthony Edwards back from a knee injury to chip in 18 off the Minnesota bench. On the ice, second round action, the Hurricanes rally past the Flyers 3-2 in overtime for a 2-0 series lead. Taylor Hall netted the winner late in OT. Also, the Golden Knights down the Ducks 3-1 to take game one of that series. Baseball, the Cubs won their sixth straight, 5-4 over the Reds, scoring twice in the bottom of the ninth, including a game-ending pinch hit solo homer from Michael Conforto.
I guess you just try to envision yourself, in a big moment like that. And, in that spot, I just wanted to make sure at the very least I was getting on base.
Yankees completed a 4-game sweep of the Orioles, 12-1. That's their 14th win in 16 games. Aaron Judge hit his 14th home run. That's tied for tops in the majors with Munetaka Murakami, who hit his 14th as the White Sox walloped the Angels 6-0. Davis Martin and Sean Newcomb combined on a 5-hitter with 14 strikeouts. Phillies shut out the Marlins 1-0. Aaron Nola and the Big Easy with a 7-hit combo plate. Red Sox tripped the Tigers. Detroit Cy Young laureate Tarek Skubal needs left elbow surgery. Could be out through the All-Star break. That's Tuesday Sports.
Looking for the next place to call home? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim.
I had been looking at this great community here. Lavender Meadows stands way above the others.
Dennis and his wife found more than just a home.
One of my favorite things we have here is we have a community garden. We can grow tomatoes and just all kinds of greens. Our radishes were fabulous.
Come meet your new neighbors at Lavender Meadows. Our modern, low-maintenance homes give you more time to enjoy your life. Go to lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
Ahoy, Port Angeles! Set your course and mark those calendars for this year's Port of Port Angeles Maritime Festival, June 6th. The Maritime Festival features great live music, delicious food vendors from some of the most delicious in the area, along with a lively beer garden. The Maritime Festival, presented by the Port of Port Angeles, will be a day full of sea-loving family fun, highlighting our maritime careers at the Port Angeles Boat Haven. Best of all, it's free. This year we'll have a large wading pool for kids and get in on the 3rd annual Flounder Pounder Fishing Tournament, open to the whole family. Check out all the details and watch for continued event updates. Go to maritimefestival.org. We'll see you on the waterfront for the Port of Port Angeles Maritime Festival, June 6th at the Port Angeles Boat Haven.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. New home sales in the U.S. rising in March by more than forecast as a median selling price slid to a more than 4-year low and builders offered incentives. The median sales price of a new home decreased 6.2% in March from a year earlier, the lowest since July of 2021. New single-family home sales increased 7.4% from February, the fastest this year, according to government figures. Job openings in the U.S. little changed in March, with available positions falling slightly to 6.87 million from a revised 6.92 million in February. Meanwhile, the hiring rate jumped to 3.5% after dropping in February to the lowest level since the onset of the pandemic. Apple has held preliminary talks with Intel and Samsung about producing its main processors in the U.S., offering an alternative to Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing. Apple is considering additional suppliers after recent shortages driven by the build-out of AI data centers and higher demand for Macs. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio. Let's get a last look at the noontime traffic next.
If you're an Angelus Furniture customer, you'll never be taken for granted. At Angelus Furniture, you're the top priority.
We really appreciate our customers. We try to treat everybody with the utmost respect. We go the extra mile to try to take care of them when they buy something from us, and even when they don't buy something from us. You know, we look at it as a long-term relationship, not a one-transaction relationship.
For fine furniture and the treatment you deserve, shop Angelus Furniture on East 1st Street, Port Angeles.
Buying locally doesn't always mean paying more. At McCrory Carpet One, they're a part of a cooperative that bands together over 1,000 family businesses just like them to form the largest floor buying group in America. Together, they buy over $7 billion in flooring. That means not only do you get the best prices and quality installation, but you help support local jobs and families. McCrory Carpet One has been proudly serving our community for over 60 years. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP. Traffic and roads.
All right, one last time this afternoon, we head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center, and that's where Steve is standing by with a check of the noontime roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're looking pretty good out there overall. If you're out there on the lunchtime crush, things moving along fairly well. It's busy. Let's put it that way. Coming into Port Angeles, pretty steady traffic. Down First Street, up Front Street, Lincoln Street, 8th Street, pretty much all the main streets. Right now, a lot of traffic out there, little delays at the lights. Same thing in Squim. Washington Street has been really busy, along with Squim Avenue. Just a lot of cars there and a lot of backup there at the Squim Avenue stoplight. If you're on the highway between the two cities, things are a little bit better. Traffic is moving along pretty smoothly out there, right at the speed limit. Beyond that, the Hood Canal Bridge good to go still with no scheduled marine openings this afternoon. State ferries are holding up as well. They are staying on time. West End traffic, we're looking good all the way out to the Forks area. Just light to moderate traffic out there. A little bit busy out of Port Angeles, but the rest of the way, no problem. And right at the speed limit. So everybody take care, be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Your forecast, starting to see it. Sunshine's going to emerge as we head through the afternoon. Highs in the mid-60s, maybe 70 away from the water. Clear tonight, lows near 50. West wind's going to gust to 30, though, through the evening tonight. Mostly sunny tomorrow after patchy fog and low clouds in the morning with highs in the low to mid-60s. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, and then partly sunny for Thursday. And Thursday's high should again be in the low to mid-60s. Right now across the North Olympic Peninsula, 54 in the East End and Port Townsend out west. Forks at 59 now. It's 57 in Squim. And it's also 57 here in Port Angeles out at Fairchild Airport. Now, pop superstar Britney Spears taking a plea deal in a case of alleged driving while drunk in Ventura, California. And that happened back in March. Spears not in person at Monday's hearing. ABC's Alex Stone reports from Southern California.
The California Highway Patrol says when they pulled over Britney Spears for erratic driving, she was intoxicated with both drugs and alcohol. Now she's agreed to plead guilty to a lesser count of reckless driving rather than DUI to avoid a trial and jail time. The judge ruling
she's released on 12 months of summary probation.
In addition to 12 months of probation, Spears must enroll in an alcohol recovery program and get mental health help. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right. When's the last time you saw a typewriter or even used one? Well, the U.S. market, valued at about $115 million, it enjoys a steady annual growth driven by a desire for tactile, distraction-free creativity. Many writers are using the machines for initial drafts, finding that the mechanical rhythm fosters a focus that digital screens just can't do. And a secondary market for refurbished mid-century classics is outpacing new sales due to their legendary precision. Beyond the aesthetics, typewriters remain vital tools for institutional use in regions where electricity is unreliable or digital security is a concern. High security agencies have even recorded an uptick in usage to safeguard sensitive information against modern digital espionage.
If you've enjoyed using those annoying self-service ticket kiosks at America's airports, then you're going to love what's coming next. And with vacation time here, the new AI-powered ones are ready to serve you at Miami's International Airport. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN. Every time you go online, you're tracked. Keep your activity private and secure. Right now, get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. Okay, I'm talking about a life-size AI-powered hologram chatbot, just like something from a sci-fi movie. And you're going to love that it's mounted on a pedestal, so as you talk to it, you have to look up to it. These bots are already operating at 4 key points across the airport, including one near TSA. It is impressive tech, but with all the alcohol and drug-fueled passenger screaming, yelling, and fighting in airports these days, especially big ones like Miami, a holographic robot may not be the best place to try them out. I do all the heavy lifting for you to make sure that you're tech smart. So that's why you need to get my free newsletter. It's 5-star rated at getkim.com. Here's something they don't teach you in school. Until the 90s, the U.S. government classified encryption as munition. Literally, it was on the same restricted list as firearms and explosives. They weren't wrong. Encryption is a weapon. It's just one that protects you instead of targeting other people. Every time you go online without a VPN, you're leaving your digital front door wide open. That's why I use ExpressVPN. One click encrypts your connection. No one, not even your internet provider, can see what you're doing. It's fast, secure, and so easy to use. Traveling, streaming, working remotely, it doesn't matter where you are. Use ExpressVPN on everything. Phones, laptops, tablets. Up to 14 devices on one subscription. That covers the entire family. Your privacy is worth defending. Start with the same tool I use. Get up to 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh, and coming up, if you have a big challenge coming up that requires a lot of brain power, I'll give you an easy way to instantly increase your focus. It's next in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Mom deserves more than flowers and a card. Enter to win the JTV Mother's Day Getaway at jtv.com/sweepstakes. You could win a 6-night cruise to Grand Cayman, Mexico, and the Bahamas, plus $1,000 spending money and a $1,000 gift card to shop JTV. It's a mom's dream come true. Enter the JTV Mother's Day Getaway now at jtv.com/sweepstakes. And new customers receive a one-time $25 off of a purchase of $50 or more.
No matter what challenge you're facing, whether it's a math test or putting together an IKEA bookshelf, do this. Take a deep breath in through your nose. It'll improve your focus and accuracy. This comes from a study in the journal Nature Human Behavior. For the study, subjects were asked to work on math problems and spatial visualization tasks while researchers monitored their breathing. And when the subjects inhaled just before executing a task, they got higher scores. The researchers say inhaling deeply through your nose wakes up regions of the brain that optimize focus. And weirdly, they relate this back to our ancient ancestors, because early humans had to rely on their sense of smell to sniff out danger or differentiate between edible food and something spoiled. So inhaling deeply, it's a survival mechanism linked to cognition, and it gives us laser-like focus. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Dr. Josh Jones previews Cinemental, a live podcast event using film and TV to explore mental health in a meaningful and lighthearted way. Plus, Bev Dawson from the Port Angeles Garden Club with details on their annual plant sale.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Hi, I'm John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, serving the Puget Sound since 2007. Tri-State Roofing is committed to making every step of the process stress-free. You'll have a dedicated production manager helping you with every aspect, start to finish. Right now, we're offering 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 6 months. Call Tri-State today, and we'll be out tomorrow.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
The North Peninsula's news, the North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Surveys of fuel pump numbers show gasoline prices are now the highest since July 2022, $4.50 a gallon for a national average. ABC's Karen Travers at the White House.
We have heard the president say repeatedly that as soon as the war ends, gas prices are going to come plummeting right back down to where they were before the war started. But experts and analysts continue to say that is just not going to happen as quickly as he is saying. It's going to take time for all of this to snap back after how much this has been impacted because of what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz. So even if the president says this week the war is over, we're not likely to see gas prices go down for some time.
ABC's Karen Travers. The U.S. military, under what officials call Project Freedom, is ensuring safe passage of commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. No word yet how many shipping companies and their insurance carriers will agree to it. Secretary of State Rubio announcing that the U.S. would forward a new draft resolution before the UN Security Council to defend freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz.
There is no scenario here in which if they decide to join a ladder of escalation, they wind up getting the last say. But our preference is for these straits to be opened to the way they're supposed to be opened, back to the way it was. Anyone can use it, no mines in the water, nobody paying tolls. That's what we have to get back to, and that's the goal here.
To lower gasoline prices, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says he plans to keep the state gas tax at its current rate, stopping a small increase set for July. Isolating in their cabins, 150 passengers and crew on a Dutch cruise ship anchored off the coast of West Africa. 3 passengers have died. At least 4 others are sick. Health officials say it's from hantavirus, usually spread by inhaling contaminated rodent droppings. Medical teams have just finished assessing 3 patients on board before evacuation, says the World Health Organization. You're listening to ABC News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-551-7672.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-551-7672. That's 800-551-7672.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The man accused of rushing the Secret Service checkpoint at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Cole Allen, has been indicted by a grand jury. One of the charges is an attempt to assassinate the president. The man accused of throwing a gasoline bomb at the San Francisco home of OpenAI chief Sam Altman pleaded not guilty today to attempted murder and attempted arson. The man arrested in yesterday's officer-involved shooting on the National Mall in Washington has been identified as Michael Marks, 45, say law enforcement sources, has a Texas driver's license. Home prices have gotten more expensive, says a Realtors Association.
The price increases are most significant in the Northeast, where the average price for a single-family home in a metro area was up nearly 5% in the first quarter of 2026, now topping $500,000. The Midwest, and to a lesser degree the South, also saw home prices rise, while homes in the West actually fell nearly 3%. As for which urban centers saw the biggest increases according to the National Association of Realtors, there were double-digit increases in both Akron, Ohio and Anchorage, Alaska. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson are out of the PGA Championship as expected. A jury in Boston has begun deliberating in the assault trial of former New England Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs involving his live-in chef. Both sides quickly wrapped up witness testimony. At the close, the Wall Street major indexes are higher. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
When purchasing a home or land, nobody wants to inherit existing debts or legal issues that could interfere with their property rights in the future. That's why it's important to work with a local title insurance professional and protect your property rights with Owner's Title Insurance. Olympic Peninsula Title has been protecting the property rights of Clallam County customers for over 40 years. Put our team of professionals to work for you. For title insurance and escrow services, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
Do you have a social function in your future to plan? Perhaps you're in charge of this year's class reunion, or you have a wedding reception to host coming up. Maybe even a celebration of life. Well, the Eagles Club in Port Angeles can help. We have a beautiful facility available for public use. We have staff available to show you around and see if we would be the right fit to facilitate your next gathering. The Eagles Club, number 483 on Myrtle Street in Port Angeles. Give us a call today at 452-3344.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Candidate filing underway in Clallam County. In the race for Clallam County Commissioner, District 3 incumbent Democrat Mike French filing for re-election and will face independent challenger Jake Seegers, who also filed. Other races filling in: Lee Hancock filing for county assessor, prosecuting attorney Mark Nichols seeking another term, and Bruce Emery filing for re-election to director of community development. In the 24th District Legislative House races, in Position 1, Ted Bowen filing as representative there. That currently is held by Adam Birnbaum. In the Position 2 seat being vacated by Steve Theringer, Democrats Patrick DePoe, Kaylee Keene, and Bradley Nemo Calloway have filed. Marcia Kelbon filing for that seat, running without party preference.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 48. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 63. Daytime highs approaching 61. Thursday, under partly cloudy skies. 58. Friday, slight chance of rain showers. Take a look at the extended forecast. 62 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 65 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome to the program. First half of the show today, we're going to be talking with someone I haven't had a chance to talk to in a long time. Dr. Joshua Jones joins us. Josh, great to see you again. First off, thanks for stopping by. Since you've last changed careers, I've not had a chance to bring you in, so good to see you.
Great to see you, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Now, although we should say he hasn't fully changed, he's just evolved in his career somewhat, still practicing and doing all of that. He's doing mostly telehealth, he was just telling me before we went on today, but he's also doing something that the public may want to partake in this coming Monday, right? On the 11th? Yeah. You're going to be the next in the First Fed Community Conversation series at Field Hall, but it's a little bit more than that, because you're going to be doing a podcast, or at least we'll have a chance to experience a podcast, and this is something you've been involved with for a while. Tell us a bit about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So my brother Jeff Jones and I have been doing the Cinemental podcast, CINEMENTAL. So we put the cinema into mental, and it's a podcast about mental health in TV, film, and popular culture. What they get right, what they get wrong, and what we think people need to know about mental health.
Right. Now, for those who don't know about Josh, he's a psychiatrist by trade. That's what he does when he's not on school boards and running other things as well, where we've usually talked to him. So this fits just right in with what you and your brother are involved with. What made you guys decide this would be a thing?
Well, we've always wanted to spend more time together. My brother is a screenwriter and a professor down in L.A. in the other Angeles, and we wanted to spend more time together. We've also both had our own mental health issues. So my brother struggles with bipolar disorder, I with major depressive disorder, along with being a psychiatrist and helping other people. We wanted to tell our stories about how film and TV have helped us connect with our emotions, our mental health, and really kind of dispel stigma, help people talk about what's going on with them, to see two, successful, strong men discuss mental health in a very real way.
So, the logical thing is to say, is Hollywood getting it right?
And the answer is kinda.
Okay.
It's a strong kinda. Yeah. I mean, Hollywood's there to tell stories, and that they're not there to really tell the truth about mental health. So they definitely, make things more dramatic. They definitely kind of gloss over some of the nuance. But that's what Jeff and I try to do. We try to fill in the blanks of what Hollywood doesn't, to tell people mostly they're not alone, they're not broken, and you may see sparks and bits and pieces of what you're experiencing on screen, but let's help you find the words and have the conversations with your loved ones and your care providers about what's really going on with you.
I'm going to get into some specifics, but I got to get your take. When you look at shows that are like Shrinking, there's a huge popular show on Apple TV, right? It's got the big star power in it and all of that. Are those shows helpful or not? I mean, it's a comedy. It's meant to be somewhat not terribly serious about it, but it does dive into it. I mean, heck, it's about psychiatrists, right? Psychologists.
It absolutely is. And we actually covered Shrinking.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
We covered Shrinking many episodes ago, and they get a lot of things really right. One of the things they do get right is how funny life is and life can be, and how you can laugh along with the mental health symptoms that you're having. It's okay to have the full experience of human emotions, even while you're dealing with things as serious as suicide, as depression. There are spots and bits and pieces of ironic humor, of full-blown joy that we need to grasp onto. And I think Shrinking does a great job of that.
All right. You'd love to roll in a Harrison Ford, once in a while to help out in a session.
Oh my God, wouldn't
People
I?
might listen to that guy, right?
He was the original Dr. Jones.
That's very true. Very good point. Very good point. Okay, so take us through a bit about how this podcast works, because that will lead us to what people will see on Monday if they come, when you are actually doing this podcast there in front of a live audience. But those who've not tuned into it yet, explain what how you go from A to B through an episode.
Yeah. One of the great things about our podcast is, even if you haven't seen the TV show or the movie, you can appreciate what we're talking about. We don't give away a ton of spoilers, but we definitely, give you an overview of what the show is about. But we're really there to use that as a jumping off point to a conversation about what's going on with the characters and with the whole, mental health theme. For instance, we actually just recorded a show on Interstellar, the great Christopher Nolan movie from a few years ago. It's a science fiction movie, but the topic we talked about was the neurobiology and the psychology behind love, because the whole thing is a love letter to his daughter. So yes, we talk about, some very serious mental health issues, but we talk about the entire experience of human emotion and psychology. And, you'll get an awful lot of brotherly banter too. Sure. I mean, my brother, slings a bunch of jibes at me and back and forth too. So if you want to hear, some mental health issues, if you want to hear, Jeff's take on why films are successful, and if you want to hear brothers, kind of pitch a bunch of junk at each other, we're for you.
It's free, by the way. It starts at 6:00 on Monday, this coming Monday at Field Hall, if you want to get in on it. It's very interesting. How do you pick what your show or your movie? As you just pointed out, there's something. I mean, it's not always about a blatantly a mental health driven plot per se.
Well, we try to have a lot of fun with it. Obviously, you know, we'll pick movies that we really like. We'll pick things that are in the zeitgeist or, you know, coming up. For instance, the movie that we're going to cover on Monday is we're going to cover The Devil Wears Prada.
Perfect.
The sequel just came out.
Right.
Yeah, and we're going to talk all things about that. You know, we try to pick movies that people really love and want to watch over and over and over again, because, you know, we'd love people to just kind of pick episodes of our podcast, listen to a few that they love, and then say, you know what, I kind of like these guys. Let's hear more what they have to say, even about shows that aren't my favorite.
How do you approach this? Do you go by a character? Do you go by a overall plot, themes? You know, how do you make your first approach into, you know, broaching these subjects?
Yeah, it really depends. If there's an obvious character that we really need to talk about, you know, so for instance, if we covered American Psycho, we would talk about the sociopath serial killer, and we'd give a diagnosis for that character. Otherwise, we'll look at broad themes or do both. For instance, when we talk about The Devil Wears Prada, we're absolutely going to talk about the Miranda Priestley character and how her, you know, kind of narcissism plays into things. But we'll also talk about the general overall theme about, you know, generational psychology in the workplace, which that movie talks about. So, Todd, we kind of go all over the map. We have it be a very free-ranging conversation, and then my brother expertly edits into a podcast, which makes me sound a lot smarter than I am. So that's pretty great.
What will be fun for folks if they come Monday, they can see the raw assembly of this thing, and then later you can tune in and see how it actually gets posted up after the fact somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. And because this is also going to be a live show, we're going to reserve some time at the end for audience questions. That's really what my brother and I love to do. He's a professor. I mean, I love giving presentations and really interacting with folks, seeing what's on their mind. We can pivot very quickly and make sure that, you know, any question or comment that is asked ends up giving us some great content for people to take home some points with them.
Sure. Your overall goal in this, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming this is it to, you know, get people to talk about it, and maybe it loosen someone up enough to say, you know what, I may have some of these issues. I need to talk to a Dr. Jones about things.
You know, Todd, I've been in this community here for 16 years. First as the medical director up at Peninsula Behavioral Health, then at Olympic Medical Center, and now I've stepped out into a little broader role with Providence Health System. My whole goal in my career has been to have people say, hey, I've got a mental health issue, and to have it be as easy as going to their primary care provider to get that addressed like any other health condition. And that's what we're hoping that the podcast helps people do, to know that they're not alone, and to be able to have some language, some shared language to be able to take with them and say, here's what's going on with me. I don't know what I have. I don't want to say this is my diagnosis, but here's what's going on with me. And more than that, I know I'm not broken and can get some help.
Absolutely. We'll go back to stigma. You talked at the top of the thing, you know, this is a huge thing. That's one of probably a stumbling block people have with even picking the phone up in the first place.
You bet. I mean, stigma is huge. So this idea that I'm broken, this is shameful somehow it's my fault. These are all things that, you know, keep people from going and getting help. And fortunately, you know, since the pandemic, I think stigma is lowered. But for certain segments of the population, you know, especially middle-aged and older men, older men have one of the highest suicide rates in the nation. Still going and saying, I need some help is hard.
Yeah. I bet you never thought that your practice would be somewhat based on podcasting way back when, right? I don't think any of us really realized where it will end up. But, you know, just your thoughts as you look back on it. Did you ever think, well, I'm going to sit down and do these things, and that's going to be how I get people interested in getting some help?
The first time we ever talked, probably 20 years ago, podcast wasn't even a word.
I didn't know what that was.
no idea that this was going to be part of it. But it's been such a blessing, and my brother and I get to have a great conversation with each other for about 3 hours every week, talk about things that are on our mind.
Yeah. So if nothing else, has helped the family ties.
Oh, you
right?
betcha.
Yeah.
And that's the number one reason why we're into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not to the point yet where it's getting monetized. Another word I have had to
Nobody
learn
knew what that
in this
was either,
space.
right?
Yeah. But maybe we get there someday. Maybe we don't. That's not the point. The point is really to get kind of the word out, to help people understand what's going on with them, to help us understand what's going on with ourselves and each other. And mostly to have some fun.
All right. We're going to take a break. Let's come back. We'll talk a bit more specifically about the podcast, about things as Dr. Joshua Jones sees it in the mental health world when we return right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, it's Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. Ever call somewhere and get stuck in a phone maze so long you start questioning your life choices?
Press 1 to speak to a robot. Press 2 to be routed to the number 4 button. Press 3 to be disconnected inexplicably.
Yeah, we don't do that. We're right here in Port Angeles at 405 South Peabody Street. You need help? Just stop in. We'll look up, smile, and actually talk with you. Farmers Insurance, here when you need us.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Pick a day in May and head our way. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and I would like to invite you to stop by and check out our new selection of Wilder certified used. Trade-ins make the best used cars, and we've got a great, fresh selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans to choose from. Plus, every vehicle we sell includes the Wilder Advantage, which means lower cost of ownership and peace of mind. So come check us out or 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
Hey there, Dawn Reiling from Olympic Hot Tub. Time to celebrate spring and warmer days ahead. Get ready by adding a hot tub, swim spa, or sauna at home to take better care of you and your family. For nearly 50 years, Olympic has been offering products to help people live better. During our Soak Sauna and Swim event, find your perfect wellness solution and save thousands through May 10th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. It's time for your monthly Market Minute with critical insights from local real estate pro May Graves.
Did you know, according to Redfin, 15% of U.S. home sales fell apart before closing in September 2025? Most people think that once the offer is accepted, the hard part is over. But that's actually when the real work begins. Offers collapse over things like home inspections, miscommunication, and even inexperience. That's why the most important skill in real estate today isn't just marketing, it's seeing challenges before they happen and keeping everything moving forward. When a deal falls through, your home can end up with a black eye it didn't deserve, causing buyers to wonder what's wrong with your home. If you have questions, call me. It's May Graves, 360-461-1922. Real Estate Market Pros, hyper-local, data-driven results.
If it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries, 452-7803 or lakesideindustries.com.
One more segment. We're talking with Dr. Joshua Jones, who is, with his brother, put together the podcast that you can be a part of the taping of on May 11th, which is Monday at Field Hall. This is really kind of twofold. One, you get to see the behind the curtain stuff of doing a podcast, but it really is all about the content of mental health issues and how in cinema, TV, movies, how that is addressed, or at least using that as a vehicle to start talking about this as well. And that's what we were chatting about in the first part of the show. I want to talk about broadly more about mental health issues. You mentioned about older white guys like me are really have a lot of problems. And I know why, because we're tough. We don't want to talk about it. or we don't want to admit maybe there's something going on?
Oh boy, I'll tell you. When I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and I have this conversation with patients who are my age all the time. When we were kids, the only emotion that young boys were allowed to feel was anger. Everything else was, why are you feeling that way? Why the crying? Everything like that. Anger is a secondary emotion, and what I try to do with folks is, all right, let's try to dig a little deeper and figure out what's the emotion that's fueling that, because we weren't allowed to express that back in the day. It's much more allowed to express it now, and that's what's actually really going on for a lot of people, but it has been societally okay to express it as anger. And now it's not. So we got to relearn some tools. And so we do a lot of reteaching. It's funny. Doctor actually comes from the Greek word for teacher. So that's what we try to do. That's what I try to do, is help people learn new skills to replace the skills they've learned that aren't working for them so much anymore.
You mentioned you do a lot of telehealth, so people are literally calling into you and doing this work, which has been kind of a good thing, because I think that does forward it. I'm thinking in my own sense, I might be more apt to call you on the phone or do something, via a chat with you, at least to start with. Do you agree? Has this opened up the gates a little bit?
Yeah, it's so funny. So my practice, I see mostly acute care, so in emergency departments and hospital floors. And there was this hesitancy at the beginning that, some people didn't think that people were going to be able to engage with the psychiatrist well enough over the audio, video, two-way communication device. I haven't found that to be true at all. The skills that we develop as psychiatrists, as mental health professionals to engage people absolutely translate over those devices. And just as you pointed out, Todd, some people are less threatened when it's over video and audio than when we're sitting, in close proximity to each other. So I haven't found that at all. The studies that have been done about whether or not it is as effective as in-person care have borne that out as well. So I think it's absolutely fabulous. And I can sit in my home office and teleport into 45 different hospitals that we serve without having to go there. It is super efficient.
Yeah. You're seeing a lot more patients, probably.
Seeing a lot of different types, seeing a lot all over the place. It's, and the good news, I guess, because it's so easy to get your view constricted to your little world, and to our world here on the peninsula. People's problems are very much the same no matter where you are. So this feeling that, we're the only ones going through this, it's not true. We're all going through this. All this malaise that's going on right now. It's just tough everywhere.
What are you noticing as far? I mean, are we, because I think a lot of people will say, boy, we've got a lot of mental health issues maybe we didn't have before, or is it just that we're addressing them now more than we did in the past? You sort of alluded to that when we talk about people our age, but
I think it's both and. I mean, the pandemic, we are still feeling the effects of the pandemic, even the virus, not so much, but definitely the societal strains that the pandemic showed are very real. So we know that there was a lot of stress and a lot of mental health issues that developed because of all the lockdowns around the pandemic. It has definitely allowed people more space in which to acknowledge how much they're struggling since the pandemic. And, generally, even though, you may see some economic metrics say that we're in a good place, et cetera, people aren't feeling that way. Right. It's not translating to them in their real lives. And that itself creates massive amounts of stress. And we know stress is really the driver of mental health issues.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so a lot of this, and I'm on social media. I like it, but there's a love-hate relationship with that. Are you seeing that as being an issue too? Because we're so locked in. I guess in some ways we're talking about your podcast and all this techie stuff, but there's kind of a bad side to that too. And maybe, or is that just a convenient excuse for us to say, well, it's because we're all too connected all the time?
No, you're right, and the data is really bearing that out, especially in the teenagers. Yeah. And younger folks. The stresses have never been more real. If I said something really dumb on the playground when I was in 6th grade, it would evaporate by the next recess. Now it lives forever in cyberspace. And that stress is very real and it's very damaging. And we're going to have to come to grips with our relationship with social media and what we're allowing it to do to the younger generation. And we're going to need to come to grips with it pretty soon.
Right. You think we need to ban it all like some places or not?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, we obviously can't regulate it just on our own. So we're going to need to have some restrictions and regulations. And that's hard. I mean, we Americans, we don't love people telling us what not to do. But when you develop such an invasive technology that you don't really know what the consequences are going to be, once you do know what the consequences are going to be, you need to act.
Right. I agree. I roll back to my kids are all much older now, but boy, if they would have had what we have now when they were 13, 14, 15 years old, I'm not sure. I'm thankful I'm not a parent right now trying to navigate that with kids that are younger, because it is pervasive and it's harsh, very harsh.
Very harsh, yeah.
Even on the best days, even the good stuff's harsh, right?
Yes.
Because the comparison level of stuff that's going on is like, I got to be as good as that, or I got to be as good as that.
It's also the volume of it, Todd.
Yeah.
I mean, you can reach and be reached by millions of people. People want to go viral, so millions of people see their stuff. I mean, if I came up with a really funny joke back in middle school, maybe my reach was 10 people.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the comments.
And it wasn't 24/7. They weren't going to call you at home at midnight and say, that joke was whatever.
That's right. Well, I mean, they couldn't get through the line because our modem was using it.
That's a good point. Very good.
We're aging ourselves now.
Very
for sure.
good point. All right. For folks who want to check out your podcast, give us kind of the details again and what you'll find if we land on it, and then we'll invite people to come and see it live.
Yeah, you can find it on any of the podcast platforms. It's Cinemental, C-I-N-E, as in cinema, and then mental, M-E-N-T-A-L. You can also find it by Googling Cinemental Podcast. We're also on YouTube. We have all of our podcasts recorded as well for video. If you want to see us, I don't know why you would, but you can find us on our own YouTube channel on Cinemental on YouTube as well.
I've watched a little bit, and it's fascinating. I think you guys are onto something. I like it.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah. So come, though, and see this get put together live in kind of a different setting, a little special setting at Field Hall, Monday evening, 6 o'clock. This is part of the First Fed Community Conversation Series, and it really is about the bigger issue of mental health awareness and access and all of that. But really, you get to see how they're using this as a tool in this podcast to get to that point. And great to see you again, Josh. Thanks for stopping down. Dr. Joshua Jones, who is one half of the podcast with his brother, and we appreciate him coming in. Again, that's May 11th, 6 o'clock, First Fed Community Conversation at Field Hall. You'll want to check that out. We're going to take a break. Be back with more right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this.
Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Shopping for building supplies shouldn't be a headache, especially when you have life and home projects going on at full speed. That's why at LumberTraders.com, we make it easy to get what you need online while keeping your money right here in the community. And it's all about convenience. With just a few clicks, find thousands of in-stock building products from Angelus Millwork, Hartnagel's, and Angelus Rentals all in one spot. LumberTraders.com has 80,000 additional products through our warehouse, giving you more choices without ever leaving town. We also have some ways to save you some cash. Check out our ongoing monthly product sales and discounts, offering 10% off and up on a long list of essential home and building products. And if your next project requires rental equipment, reserve and pay online 24/7. Whether it's a big build or a quick fix, LumberTraders.com has you covered. Your local, employee-owned solution to building smarter. As always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Gasoline prices are now the highest since July 2022, $4.50 a gallon for a national average, connected to the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, say analysts. The U.S. military, under what officials call Project Freedom, is ensuring safe passage of commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Secretary of State Rubio announcing that the U.S. would forward a new draft resolution before the UN Security Council to mandate no sea mines, no tolls, no restrictions by Iran in the strait.
It cannot be that you have these straits and they blow up any ship that moves and the only ships that get to go through are theirs. You can't have a situation in which the straits are closed to everyone else, but they benefit from the piracy. That can't happen. That's why the blockade is in place, and that's why these sanctions are crippling them.
Medical teams just finished assessing 3 patients on board that Dutch cruise ship anchored off West Africa before evacuation, says the World Health Organization. Hantavirus, they say it is. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 48. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 63. Daytime highs approaching 61 Thursday under partly cloudy skies. 58 Friday, slight chance of rain showers. Take a look at the extended forecast. 62 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 65 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
Welcome back to the program. Going to spend a few minutes talking with Bev Dawson, who we've had on many times before, talking this time out by the Port Angeles Garden Club. Very active organization. I think people don't really realize it has 87 members, which I was surprised at. That you guys are going strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Todd, thank you so much for having me here today.
So you got things going on. You've got fundraising things. You've got things the public needs to get involved with.
Tons of stuff. And, you know, the plant sale of the month was last week.
Right.
There were everywhere. And now the Port Angeles Garden Club is going to have their plant sale.
Right.
And it's coming this Saturday, May 9th, from 9 to 12 with half price starting at $12.30. Garden Club in Port Angeles is very active in the community, maybe a little different than some of the other garden clubs. We will be holding that at the Senior Center, and we're blessed to be able to have it there, although the venue is not nearly as big as Master Gardeners or Squim Prairie or some of the other ones. We can't spread out. So we augment our plant sale, which those plants are nurtured and grown by our members.
Yeah, I was going to say, these are grown by your folks, right?
And our folks are going to be standing there telling them why they love that plant, which is what I like to do. But then we augment our plant sale with a raffle. And we have a really famous raffle. Our Victoria full package raffle is $5, and it is the ferry, the transportation to Bouchard, 1 night stay, and dinner. And we sell out on those.
Oh, absolutely.
We print 750 tickets, and I think they're probably almost gone now.
Okay.
So we'll probably print more next year.
Okay.
And then we have another raffle, too.
Right, and that's for some hanging baskets,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Those of us that are love taffy and know Wayne Riddell, he makes these fabulous Victorian hanging baskets. Every year he donates one of these baskets to us. It's just like there's 30 plants in it.
Yeah,
and
the Wayne Riddell basket is something else. If you've not
famous.
That's all you have to say is a Wayne's basket.
And if you could see him, tote these great big things in, and we have to display them, and they're just starting to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited about that donation. He's giving us not only a big one, but a medium-sized one this year.
Okay.
But then other stuff that goes with our $1 raffle. And so you come up to the Senior Center on Saturday, you'll see our people aggressively pushing plants and raffle tickets.
As I've said, even with the Master Gardeners last week when we had them on, the good thing about these plants, they've been grown by your folks. They know how to grow them here. These are the types of things that will that will work here too.
Absolutely, and we're really passionate about it.
So tell us a bit about the history of the Garden Club. For those who don't know, this club's been around a long time.
Port Angeles Garden Club was chartered in 1937.
Yeah.
I have been president, and now 4 years, 6 years, 8 years later, I'm co-president. And I have been chair of the plant sale many times. So what makes me passionate about the Garden Club is, first of all, when I came here new to Port Angeles, like so many of us do, is that how am I going to figure out what all these plants are? When you start handling plants, you start learning their names, you start getting passionate about them. You know what you like, you know what you don't want any more of. And so we learned that in the Garden Club. But why I am very active there is that I like what happens with the money, is that we are not your grandma's garden club. We contribute to the city in many ways. The city baskets at the fairgrounds. We maintain a garden right on the wharf. We maintain the Gold Star and the Blue Star markers, honoring our veterans. But we also contribute heavily towards scholarships for environmental studies. This year we had $6,000 that go to kids in our community. We also are passionate about other nonprofits. And over the years, we have a committee that selects nonprofits. I mean, we have contributed to the Fine Arts Center. This last year we did and I may not have the name just right, it is the bird sanctuary in Port Townsend.
Oh, okay.
That save the birds. I mean, that's fascinating, and we were just so excited to hear their story that we contributed. Sisters Farm. There's things that we have done that we feel go along with our mission of helping the community and helping the environment, helping wildlife, preserving our community.
You guys do great work. And then we haven't even talked about the Forever Stream Fest. And
oh,
all
my
that.
gosh.
That comes later. We'll chat about that when we get closer.
That'll be great. That'll be
another
great.
reason I get you back as well. But we want folks to go to the PA Senior Center this weekend on the 9th, on Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. And then half price from 12:30 until 1. So you only got a half hour for the half price.
Or till the plants are gone.
Or till they're gone.
Yeah, we don't want to take any home.
That's it. That's it. And you can get some great plants.
Absolutely.
And you can also ask questions of folks who have become quite expertise in growing them as well. Thanks for all you do. You guys are just a strong, robust club that does a lot of things. And I learned a little bit, too. I didn't realize all of the other fun nonprofits that you get involved with to help out too.
Right.
So,
and we have speakers. When we give them money, we usually have them come in and talk about what they do and how they've spent the money. And so we're learning. So we do a lot of education. We do a lot of crafts. We do a lot of trips. We're very, very, very active club. And I might add, at the plant sale on Saturday, we have some special hanging baskets for $30. So Mother's Day is right around the corner.
Absolutely. What a great,
And I have taken on a project of doing some potato bags, which has been a learning process for me. And my garage is kind of covered with potato bags and potatoes growing out of them. And so there's interesting things to see and buy at our plant sale.
All right. Before we go, I got to ask you, what's your favorite thing to grow? What's the Bev Dawson specialty?
Oh, I like deutzia.
Deutzia, okay.
And I don't know that I grow that because it's a shrub, but I have taken cuttings and I have started them. And a deutzia is pretty woody in the winter, but when it blooms, it is solid flowers, kind of like a rhodie, only these are little baby flowers. And I got excited about that plant by going down the street and saying, "What is that?" And I stopped the car and I took a little piece of this person's plant and I ran right straight to Airport Nurseries and I said, "What is this?" And I want one. And I have a beautiful raspberry one, and I have a white one, and I have two miniature white ones. and I love those.
Okay.
Dutsia.
So if you go to the plant sale and you see Bev, you could ask about Dutsias.
You can.
You will give your knowledge
You can.
freely.
I will, because I love it.
They're neat. Well, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
They're
good,
very
good.
special little plants. So, all right, Beverly Dawson, good to see you. Thanks for coming in as always, and good luck this weekend. 9 o'clock in the morning, it gets all started at the PA Senior Center, the Port Angeles Garden Club's big plant sale. You want to go there, and boy, some great things for mom too. You can pick up, as I just pointed out. So we're going to help you with your shopping there as well as support the club. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Have you ever clicked get a quote online and suddenly your phone acts like it owes someone money? 20 calls a day, numbers you've never seen, and not one of them local? I'm Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. If you're tired of mystery callers trying to sell you insurance, try something different. Talk directly to a real local agent who actually lives here. No robocalls, no strangers. We are real people helping real people right here at home.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Meet Dennis. He and his wife call Lavender Meadows and Squim home.
They have a lot of modular home communities here, but Lavender Meadows stands way above the others. It's beautiful. There's a lot to do here. We have a beautiful clubhouse. We have bocce ball courts. We have a pickleball court. We have so many friends. It's like one big family here now.
Come tour Lavender Meadows and Squim or go to lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
Hi, this is John Hull. I'm president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A-plus rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Do you know when your septic system was last inspected? Clallam County Environmental Health keeps those records and can tell you. Pumping your septic and complete septic inspections by licensed professionals are two very different things. State law requires inspections every 1 to 3 years, depending on the system you have. Get more information about your septic system and inspection requirements by calling Clallam County Environmental Health 360-417-2258 or by logging on to clallam.net/septic.
Come see Price Ford when shopping for your next new or pre-owned vehicle. How about a new Ford F-150 for those tough tasks, a sleek Ford Mustang, or a versatile Escape for your daily commute? Price Ford has a comprehensive selection for every need and budget. Our knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect vehicle that fits your lifestyle and budget. Price Ford, next to Walmart in Port Angeles, or priceford.com.
Welcome back to the program. Going to talk about a show coming to Field Hall on May 14th. Just a couple of tickets left, but if nothing else, get yourself on the sign-up sheet for any callbacks on tickets. We welcome now Michael Carbonaro, who is going to be bringing his illusions and everything else to Field Hall with a Wonder Boy program. Michael, good to have you on. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with our listeners.
Well, hey, I'm so happy to be here.
Now, many of us know you from the Carbonaro Effect on True TV, which is a crazy show. And I have to ask you about that first. How did you come up with that as an idea for a show? Because you're pranking people, you're putting them on, kind of hidden camera, if you will, but yet it's all and it's magic mixed into it as well. It's nuts.
Exactly. Yeah. You said it great. That's totally it. I was a huge fan of Candid Camera. And kind of a anti I don't really love the word prank because I think people think it sounds mean. And there's so many mean shows and mean pranks. Everything on Candid Camera was always in such good fun. And I've always loved magic, and I love magic to be playful. And I thought, what if I could hide some cameras and get real people to believe that real magical things are happening out in the world that can't be explained, like whether it's voodoo or crazy technology that couldn't exist. How far could I push the envelope? And boy, we got the best reactions from people when we would pull these pranks on them.
How do you come up with an idea? Because it seems like when I watch the next one is almost wilder than the one I just saw before.
Yeah, I didn't even think it ended up being what felt like this endless stream of ideas, and thanks to some incredible magicians behind the scenes that I got to work with, we just sit around and kick around ideas like we just try and come up with the craziest thing, and then the real challenge was to just figure out how to actually pull it off. And we shot 125 episodes of the show, and each show had like 5 to 10 different brand new, made up magical scenarios happening. So I couldn't believe what we were able to do. I was really proud of the whole team.
All right, loaded question. This isn't a fair one, but was there one thing that you did in that show that was the one I totally thought was the best?
Oh, it's so funny. From everything that's in the show, and we did some crazy big illusions, from making a car disappear underneath a security guard's nose. We got somebody to believe in a mermaid, a woman turning to a mermaid out on the beach. But the one that I love is actually a small one. It was in just an everyday hardware store. I got this guy to believe in this little jar of beetles, almost like a flea circus. It was this little jar of beetles that could, underneath the cover of a coffee can, they could set up toothpicks into different structures all by themselves. And I said that people were buying them to help, around the house keep screws tightened, or if there's any leaks or cracks in the walls, the builder beetles, they get to work on it by themselves. And the guy's like, what? But then I showed him, I screwed a bolt onto a nut. I put this little living beetle next to it, covered it with a cup. We heard a sound. I lifted it up, and lo and behold, the beetle unscrewed the bolt from the nut, and his jaws dropping. And it was just this beautiful everyday moment of life with something so small and intimate, but this hardware man turned into a 5-year-old child.
I love it. All right, so let's not talk about the show you're bringing up here to Port Angeles on the 14th. What are you going to be doing? It's not quite exactly what was happening on the Carbonaro Effect, but a little bit of a taste of it.
No. Yeah, the crowd, gets to meet me as Michael the Magician, because I'm a magician. I'm not trying to hide that from you. It doesn't stop me from pranking you and fooling you. There's no doubt about it. But I'm excited about this one because we're touring around the country, and we're usually in real large venues, like 1,200 seaters and stuff. Yeah. And this is a nice, small, intimate place. So there's not a lot of tickets to get, and it's kind of fun to perform that intimately when you could really be close to the crowd. And I love, just like the show, audience participation. I'm bringing kids up from the audience to help, or any adults, if they want to, of course. And they get to participate with the tricks. I'm doing this wild effect in the show where I'm trying to see if we could turn imagination into reality, where the crowd is asked to think of any object in the entire world that could fit in the palm of their hand. And I try and make it actually appear. And I do. It's really wild. People are flipping out. And the show's just like the TV show, full of laughter, improvisation, audience participation, magic. It's like a good, feel-good vibe. And there's nothing I love more than to play with people in real time.
Yeah. Now, you're kind of a triple threat. You're a magician, but you're also an actor. You're a comedian as well. That all plays into
there won't be any dancing.
That's the only part. You're a different kind of triple threat. I should have probably prefaced that, right?
Right. Maybe one pirouette. I'll do one spin.
Which came first? Or at least what was the desire to do something first? Was it magic first for you?
Interesting. Yeah, they all kind of bloomed together. Yeah. I loved making people laugh. I always loved special effects, makeup, and movie magic. And, my first love was wanting to be a makeup artist for movies. But I used to buy my makeup supplies at this magic shop, kind of got interested in the tricks behind the counter. And what I loved in the magic was that I got to perform. I got to play with people and engage and be funny. And it was like a way to be doing special effects as a performance art. So it just was a natural fit.
And it's been a good one so far. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What is it about magic? I mean, people love magic shows.
Yeah. And I think when it's done right, and that is, sometimes it can be a turnoff when it's like, look what I can do that you can't. You're a fool. That's when it's like a pompous kind of magic that for me, it's like I like everybody to be having a good time and for us all to be surprised together. And I think what really draws people to magic is there's this thing that happens when you see something that can't happen. Something starts to float, and your mind knows that that's not possible. It's like this freeing feeling because you're like, you know what? It's this example that the universe doesn't work the way I think it works, and that's exciting. Because in a world where we just think we know everything and you can look up anything on Google and find the answer to everything, it's nice to see, like, wait a minute, there's secrets I don't know about yet. Like, we desperately need mystery, and I think people are instinctively attracted to that.
Yeah, it's a great answer. All right, is there a trick that you have? Maybe this is a two-part question. Your favorite magic trick that you've ever mastered, and is there one that you would just love to be able to do and you still can't quite get it to where you think you can take it on the road?
Yeah, there's one bit that I love doing in this show, which is, it's really special to me. It kind of ties in. I tell the story, this is a brand new show, tour show, and it's called Wonder Boy. I talk about myself as a kid, kind of growing up, loving special effects like I was telling you about. And I end the show getting to perform. It's a magical act. It's not a trick, actually. It's more of a performance art piece. But I use a can of shaving cream to sculpt myself in real time into all of these different creatures and monsters. It's sort of like a clown act. It's like a mime piece. It's a total left turn at the very end of the show. But I love performing that more than anything else in the world. And people, their jaws are on the ground like, what? I've never seen anything like this before. And I love that charge. And then as far as, there's one thing I did on the TV show where I like flattened pets into these discs.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to figure out how to get that on the road. I haven't yet. So that, to answer your question, I don't have that one worked out for the road show yet.
I'm going to flatten my pet up here. That's good. All right.
That's right. I know. I do have, there is a surprise guest.
Okay.
Of a puppy dog in the show. So I will say that.
Good for you, though, because the dog is part of your show. You're not following the dog because, as the old adage is, you never want to follow a kid or an animal act, right?
That's right. No, exactly right. Yeah.
Very good. You ever thought about going back and trying to do another Carbonaro Effect type show again, or is that far behind you?
Yeah, we loop back around, myself and the crew, all the time, talking about, is there a new entry point into doing that? And I'm always open to it. And there's a few scenarios that I'm like, oh, it'd be cool. And I write them down. I'm like, oh, I'd love to hit this one again. And I think if the right kind of opportunity came together, I don't know whether it'd be a series or whether it would be, a one-off special or something. It'd be fun to revisit some of those things. I mean, I really got to do all I really, truly wanted to do and more on that show. So it was time to kind of bring it to an end. And that was my choice. We didn't get canceled by the network or anything. It was me saying, like, hey, you know what? 125 is a good number. I didn't want it to, just get crappy and start repeating itself. It was like, it was time. And in the final episode, which I show a clip from in the show, I turned myself by accident into a child, like back into a kid again. And the credits roll, and I don't turn back into my real self. I stay a kid. And I just thought that was the best way to end that series.
Yeah, and perfect for Wonder Boy, as you're bringing out on
That's
the
right,
stage.
that's right.
So, Michael, it's going to be great to see you on the 14th. As I mentioned, a couple of tickets maybe left. If nothing else, call Field Hall and get on the list so that if there's any callbacks, you can get in, because you don't want to miss Michael Carbonaro and Wonder Boy coming on the 14th to Field Hall here in Port Angeles. Michael, thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. See you there.
All right, you bet. We're going to take a break. Be back with more in a minute.
In conjunction with Squim Valley Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Home, we're excited to announce the installation of 3 additional niche banks within the Veterans Circle at Mount Angeles Memorial Park in Port Angeles. Each bank has 48 niches, and each niche comfortably houses 1 to 2 sets of remains. We are proud to help serve veterans and their families by adding this additional memorial space to Mount Angeles Memorial Park.
Check Up on Health, presented by Olympic Medical Center.
Check Up on Health with Chris Whitting.
We're all so stressed out.
We asked Dr. Jack Vaith of Shepherd Pratt Hospital in Baltimore, is there good and bad stress?
There absolutely is. In fact, not having enough anxiety or stress is actually bad because we want to live a structured lifestyle where we're fairly busy and consequently fairly productive and fairly happy. And the extremes on either end can be rather unhealthy. For example, if I'm stressed over an upcoming exam, it forces me to study and prepare to do well on that exam. If I have no stress over that exam, I take the exam without studying and fail. If I have an extreme amount of stress and anxiety over the exam, I consequently can't even concentrate to memorize the stuff to do well. So there's a middle ground where a certain amount of stress drives us to a certain amount of anxiety, which in turn drives us to succeed in our endeavors.
I feel so much better now. With Checkup on Health, I'm Chris Whitting.
From the headlines to the exam room, GLP-1 medications are changing the conversation around weight loss, but navigating the facts can be overwhelming. Do you know the potential side effects or the right questions to ask your healthcare provider? Get the clarity you need from a source you trust. Your journey to wellness starts with the right information. Visit olympicmedical.org/GLP1 to learn more about the science behind GLP-1s and how they fit into a healthy lifestyle.
Did you miss out on Kids Day at Caviar Jewelry last year? You're in luck. It's that time again, and Caviar is so excited to share the joys of gems and jewelry with the children of the community. Stop by Saturday, May 30th between 11 and 5 for brilliance and fun. Break a geode, build a necklace, check out gems under the microscope, and more. See them at 2416 East Highway 101, Suite B in Port Angeles.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Gasoline prices are now the highest since July of 2022, $4.50 a gallon for national average, connected to Iran effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz, as analysts, including Patrick DeHaan at Gas Buddy.
If the strait remains closed, into the month of June, I think by July 4, we'll be at all-time record highs.
U.S. military, under what officials call Project Freedom, is ensuring safe passage of commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz, but there's no indication how many shipping companies and their insurance carriers will take Uncle Sam up on it. Secretary